This conference will now be recorded.
The characteristic of electromagnetic waves are magnetic fields are perpendicular to each other and again perpendicular to the direction of propagation. This kind of thing is also known as transverse waves. So electromagnetic waves are transverse waves, and here the satellite communication system based on these transverse waves, in which whatever be the information you want to transmit or convey, you have to transmit the signal by using electromagnetic waves. This may be informations, voice, audio, videos, or any data which can be transmitted with the help of electromagnetic waves. If we discuss about the history of the artificial satellites, we can say the first satellite is Sputnik 1, which is launched by the Soviet Union in 1957. Nearly after 18 years, India also launched the first artificial satellite named Aryabhatta in 1975. Then we will go for need of satellite communication system. Although we have many communication systems which help us to communicate with the people, with device, and many more. Yesterday, you have a very wonderful lecture on antenna and different wearable devices or devices which can communicate to each other. I am very thankful to Naveen sir who explained you all those things in a great extent. Today, I am going to explain some more thing which can help you to understand communication system. In this, although we have many communication systems, but why we are using satellite communication? The main thing is, if you want to communicate over a large distance, it is very difficult to send the information through a large distance over a large distance by using another communication system. If we're talking about wireless communication system, we have ground wave propagation and sky wave propagation based system. It means wireless communication system based on either ground wave propagation or you can say sky wave propagation. There are three types of propagation technique by means of which a device can transmit their information from one to another. In ground wave propagation, the electromagnetic waves, which is having low frequency up to 30 megahertz, is transmitted and follow the surface of Earth to travel from one place to another. In skywave propagation, this will happen with the help of multiple back and forth reflection between ionosphere and Earth surface. And this is restricted to 30 to 40 megahertz. Why these communications are restricted to low frequency? Because if you are using high frequency, then the distortion due to atmosphere increases. You can say attenuation. As attenuation increases, the information contained by the signal is lost. And again, the one demerit is that signals cannot be transferred more than 1500 kilometers. So that's why satellite communication system comes into the picture and make a system which can help us to communicate over a very large distance, which is beyond the line of sight concept, right? In this, we have different applications like radio broadcasting and voice communication, TV broadcasting, you can say DTH, internet applications, providing internet connection and data transfer, GPS application, internet surfing. This satellite communication can also used for military surveillance or navigation purposes. The main and new concept of satellite communication is, which we are going to deal about, is remote sensing application. And you also know that satellite communications are generally used for weather condition monitoring and forecasting. In these applications, we are concentrating on remote sensing application in our next slide. In future slide, we will discuss on remote sensing in detail. As I have told you, I explain all those things with the help of example, right? Then I want to tell you something about mechanics which is related to satellite communication. It means we are not talking about only the communication system. We are also interested in how we can launch the satellite, how a satellite can revolve around a fixed orbit, in a fixed orbit. So for that, we require to understand some parameters which can help us to describe the concept of orbital motion. It means that how a satellite can revolve around the Earth in a particular orbit or in a particular direction, in which we have different parameters such as semi-major axis, semi-minor axis, eccentricity, and others. But we are concentrate, we want to concentrate on those parameters which is given in this figure. In this figure, this is nothing but an ellipse. We know that ellipse has two foci. Here, F1 and F2 are the two focus. Combines the plural form of focus is foci. Right?
Yadav sir,
So here you
sorry to
can
interrupt.
see major
Yadav sir,
axis
can you hear
on
me?
which, yes. Sorry.
Sir, your voice is coming low as per the comment from somebody. Can you just put your mic close to you?
Okay. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So here in this picture you can see ellipse, right? In ellipse there are two focus. You can say foci, F1 and F2. If you divide an ellipse into 4 equal parts, then a center is considered be the midpoint of the ellipse. Here, this is the horizontal line which is called major axis, and this is vertical line which is called minor axis. In this, we will take the semi-major axis and semi-minor axis. The semi-major axis is called A. We define here A, and semi-minor axis is defined B. Right? We consider here one of the larger body is strictly situated at F1 or F2. You can say F1 or F2. And the satellite is revolving around the larger body in the elliptical path, right? This can be explained by the eccentricity eccentricity of the ellipse. The eccentricity of the ellipse is nothing but given by E is equal to root under a square minus b square divided by a. Here a and b are the semi-major axis and minor axis respectively. As you can see in this picture, in figure, if its eccentricity is equal to 0, it means if you put E is equal to 0, you will get A is equal to B. It means semi-minor axis is equal to semi-major axis, which is equal to radius of the circle. This is what? Circular orbit. If eccentricity is equal to 0, then object or satellite revolve around the center in a circular orbit. If E increases, then the path is like a elliptical path, right? Here you can see E is equal to 0.5 and for 0.75 and for 0.9, right? The condition is the E should be in between 0 and 1. If eccentricity is greater than 0 and less than 1, then you can say the body is revolving around the center of the large body, which is at the center of the ellipse in an elliptical path. Then the next thing is, we know that if any body is revolving around center in a elliptical path, or you can say in a circular path, there must be one force along tangential direction and in radial direction. So here we consider if a body is revolving around the larger body, or you can say a satellite is moving around the earth, is only possible when there is two forces acting on the satellite. The one force is the force by which satellite is attracted by the earth, and another one is the virtual force, you can say pseudo force, which is centrifugal force. This attractive force towards the center of the earth is called as force of gravitation, which is given by Newton's law of gravitation. This initiate centripetal force, and the pseudo force, which is exactly opposite to the centripetal force, is centrifugal, which is given by mv square by r. So here we have F1 g m by r square. Here capital M is mass of earth and small m is mass of object or satellite which is revolving around the sun in a circular path. Here we consider a satellite is moving around the earth in a circular orbit. Why we are taking circular orbit? For the sake of simplicity and to understand the concept of how anything revolve around the something, or you can say larger body in a circular or elliptical orbit. So here G is the gravitational constant, universal gravitational constant, which is given by 6.673 into 10 raised to minus 11, right? So this is the equation which is given by Newton's law of gravitation, and this is the centripetal force given by the equation mv r. Here v is the tangential velocity, or you can say orbital velocity of a satellite. It means this is the velocity by which a satellite revolves around the earth in a circular orbit. By taking these equations in consideration, we can say the orbital velocity can be found by using, as we know that the satellite is revolving in a circular path and always revolving in a fixed orbit. It means the net force on the satellite is zero. The net force is zero. How? The centripetal force due to attraction force of gravitation between Earth and satellite is exactly equal to the pseudo force, which is called centrifugal force, which is radially outward, and centripetal force is radially inward towards the Earth. If you equate these two equations, you can get here R is cancelled, M and small m is cancelled, and you get V square is equal to Gm upon R. Then you can say that V is equal to root under Gm upon R. Here R is the radius and height of the satellite above the surface of the Earth. It means this capital R is nothing but the radius plus distance between satellite and Earth. Okay. So V is equal to root under Gm by R. Here you can see that velocity, orbital velocity is only depends upon the height of the satellite from the surface of Earth, mass of the Earth, and radius of the Earth, and gravitational constant, which is a universal gravitational constant, which is constant for everything, everywhere in a space. So G is constant. So directly you can say V is proportional to mass of Earth and radius of Earth and the distance between satellite and Earth surface. You can easily find the orbital velocity for a particular satellite for a particular distance. Okay. Then we know that there are different types of satellite. Here I have taken only three, which is most important. First one is low Earth orbit, LEO, which is having 180 kilometer from the surface of Earth to 2000 kilometer. This satellite moves close to the Earth's surface and are generally used to for military purpose and collecting weather data. Then the next type of satellites are geosynchronous orbits. Short form is GEO. Here we have also one satellite which is called geostationary satellite, which is the special case of geosynchronous orbit satellites. These satellites are generally 36,000 kilometers above the ground and take the same time period of rotation like Earth. It means you can say if Earth rotates in period 24 hours, these satellites also takes 24 hours to cover one cycle of its rotation. Geosynchronous orbit are not circular orbit. Geosynchronous orbits are elliptical orbit and make an angle, or you can say inclination, with the equatorial orbits. The satellite which is revolving around the Earth in an equatorial orbit is called geostationary orbit. And the last one we have medium Earth orbit. These satellites are above 2000 kilometer and below 36,000 kilometer. These are generally used for navigations, for GPS system, work, and all kind of things which can help us to regulate the control navigation. So here we are going to start our main discussion which is synthetic aperture radar. This application is very, very important whenever we are talking about satellites. You know that many satellites are launched and many satellites are looking towards Earth from the space. These satellites are generally used to find the feature extractions of Earth. Synthetic aperture radar, here we are going to study synthetic aperture radar with the help of Sentinel-1. Why Sentinel-1 we are using here? Because I would like to give you the example which is based on Sentinel-1. These data are very, very useful if you want to cover the whole Earth on the different aspects like monitoring Earth's surface, monitoring physical parameters of Earth like surface roughness, soil moisture. If you want to find the different kind of structures available on Earth, you can easily find the analysis over the Sentinel-1, and it is totally free. Most of the satellite images are expensive and very tedious to use those images. So here I will explain you how you can able to download the Sentinel-1 data and how you can process that data and extract your information as you want. It means you can observe so many things from one images. You have to concentrate one of the parameter which you are going to work and extract the features from the satellite images. So here synthetic aperture radar is an emerging technology in remote sensing. Sentinel-1 is equipped with these active like sensors. First of all, I give you the example of active sensors. What do you mean by active sensor? Active sensors are the sensors which have their own active transmitter and receiver. Some satellites based on passive sensors which can only select the reflected light which is from sunlight or other source of light. But here active sensors are having transmitter which can transmit electromagnetic waves, and after interaction with the ground surface, these electromagnetic waves reflected back, and the satellite have sensors, receivers which can receive the back scattering signal and retrieve the data and form a image. Likewise, RadarSat TerraSAR synthetic aperture radars are also there. You can also download the images for TerraSAR, RadarSat 2, ALOS Pulsar, and many more. The main advantage behind this technology is how it can synthetically proceed high resolution images in any weather conditions and even at night. It means active sensors are very, very useful because it uses electromagnetic waves which cannot be destructed by any weather condition and even light. Okay. So here some are the capabilities of SAR which we are going to deal in this lecture. The first thing is microwave pulses are sent by the satellite towards Earth's surface. Then these electromagnetic waves interact with the Earth's surface or whatever be the things over the Earth's surface, and return back, and these echoes are received by the receiver and makes an image from the return echo. Generally, synthetic aperture radar is side looking, and these are the main advantage of STAR techniques, which uses a large array of antenna which is used to transmit the high frequency signal, and also receiving antenna which can receive the back scattering signal from the earth and make it an image. Generally, SAR antennas are L band, C band, X band, S band. In upcoming days, NASA is going to launch a satellite named NICER in collaboration with Indian Space Agency ISRO, which is based on L and S band communication system. Here, L band has approximately 24 centimeter of wavelength, and S band has 12 centimeter of wavelength, C band has 6 centimeter, and X band has 3 centimeter of wavelength. Due to the large wavelength, some signal can interact with the large body, and it gives a very important parameters related to the earth surfaces. Even they penetrate cloud as well as the surface of ground or vegetation to a great extent. As you can see, this is the 24 centimeter L band having wavelength of 24 centimeter. It means it can penetrate 24 centimeter, something which is above the ground surface. So you can easily find the structure of ground, analysis of ground surface, physical parameters, as well as biomass available on the ground surface. Then type of radar scattering. In this, we can see how an electromagnetic wave transmitted by the radar interacts with the earth surface or the things which is over the surface of earth. This can be divided in three main types: scattering mechanism, which is specular, diffuse, and double bounce. In specular, you can say if the electromagnetic wave interacts with a smooth surface, then no back scatter is received by the satellite which is coming back from the surface of earth due to the smooth surface of the anything. You can say water has a smooth surface, roads, or anything which has a smooth surface, or you can say ground. These things cannot reflect back the microwave energy, so it forms a black spots on the images. Due to these, you can say pixels, from these pixels you can say we can easily identify the smooth surface. The surface can be water surface, can be road, or can be a smooth ground. The other one is rough surfaces. Rough surface can be a plot farm and vegetation. When microwave energy interact with these type of surfaces, then the energy associated with the microwave is diffused and some part of energy is reflected back in the form of back scattering and received by the antenna which is mounted on the satellite. So it gives a very gray images, you can say having very low intensity minus 20 dB or greater than minus 20 dB. Here we have taken the energy in terms of decibel unit. In double bounce, the microwave energy interacts with the man-made things like house or anything made by human beings. Here, the very large energy is interacted with these kind of surfaces and reflected back and received by the receiving antenna and make a white, or you can say bright spot over the image found by the satellite, which is typically greater than minus 10 dB. Here we can say some images and how we can able to interpret what surfaces belongs to which category. So here we can see this image. Here we have a black line which is running from east to west. It can be a river, it can be a road, or it can be a ground. But here we can say this is the line of river. If you want to confirm these things, whether these lines due to river, roads, or anything else, you can use Google Earth. From Google Earth, you can easily compare your identified image from the Google Earth, and you can say this is road or this is confirmly a river. Specular reflection. Here you can see the black spot running from east to west. This is categorized by specular reflection. As we have discussed in last slide, these type of surfaces does not reflect back energy to the satellite. So that's why we are getting a black spot over the surfaces. Then we have double bounce. Here you can see double bounce. Double bounce is due to the man over the surface of Earth. You can see a white spot, or you can say large value of back scattering due to double bounce. And here we have diffuse bounce. It means the back scattering energy in between specular reflection and double bounce. This is due to the vegetation or the rough surfaces, very, very small rough surfaces due to fog or anything else, right? So this can be used for identifying smooth road, water bodies, then man-made things, or you can say vegetation or forest. Some of the examples we are going to explain in our upcoming discussion, in which we can use the SAR images. Actually, SAR images are used for environment safety, military, and more. Actually, the first one share the same acronym as SAR, search and rescue. In search and rescue, you can find something which is man-made or which is made by or destroyed by other things, right? So here you can see we can easily find flood condition by using specular reflection. We can easily find the man-made things by using double bounce scattering, and also we can found the things which gives us volumetric scattering. So some of the SAR missions you can use for INSAR also, INSAR interferometry SAR, in which you can also find the terrain, or you can say terrain displacement. Okay, by using different land conditions or different land, you can find the soil moisture, you can find dielectric constant, you can find other physical parameter which is related to the surface of the earth. Here what technology we are going to use, or what technology we are using in satellite communication for remote sensing. In this, as we have discussed earlier, we are using microwave signals, which is transverse wave. It means electric field and magnetic field, which is denoted by here H and V, H polarization and V polarization. What do you mean by H polarization and V polarization? H is horizontal polarization and V is vertical polarization. Polarization is nothing but the orientation of the wave when the wave is transmitted or received. If electrical potential is transmitted perpendicular to the surface of earth, we can say vertical polarization. If it is parallel to the surface of earth, we can say horizontal polarization. If electromagnetic energy is transmitted in horizontal direction and received horizontally, then this is called HH polarization. It means in future we are going to study about the images. In that we have images in the form of HH, VV, HV and VV polarization schemes. So that's why we have to understand what do you mean by HH, VV, HV and VH polarization. In HH polarization, the transmitting antenna transmit signals horizontally and receiving antenna receives signal horizontally. In the same way, vertical antenna transmit and vertical antenna is used to receive the vertical polarized signals. If signal is transmitted horizontally and received vertically, then we get the scene which is HV polarized. Or if the vertical transmit and horizontally receive, then we will get the image in VH polarization. So here I can share you different satellites images, how you can able to download the satellite images and how you can able to analyze the satellite images. So here I want to discuss some of the information about Sentinel-1 and SAR data analysis. In this, you can get HH plus HV polarization or VV plus VH polarization, right? Then you can find the images from this site scihub.esa.in. Okay. This table describes the information, or you can say characteristics of Sentinel-1. The Sentinel-1 has swath width 250 km. Incidence angle range is from 29.1 degree to 46 degree. Subswath is 3. Azimuth string angle are plus minus 0.6. Azimuth and range loop is single loop, right? And polarizations are dual. Why dual? Because it has two bands, VV and VH. The maximum noise equivalent sigma 0. Sigma 0 stands for back scattering signal, which is optimized for this satellite is minus 22 dB. Sigma naught is nothing but back scattering signal, which is reflected back after the interaction over the Earth surface. Then pixel size is 10 by 10 meter. It means whatever be the image we have, one pixel contained 10 meter by 10 meter distance. This is the simple flow diagram of Sentinel data processing, in which first we download the Sentinel image, then we go for terrain correction, subset, group, and other given sequences. But here we are looking only those important parameters which can help us to analyze the data and to find the more and more information from the images, in which we consider the first, download the image, then second one is subset. Subset means we are taking some part of the image in which we are interested. Suppose you are interested a particular part of the region of the image, you have to subset those part from the image and analyze only those part with the help of software. Then after we will go for back scattering sigma naught images and terrain correction or speckle filtering. Here filtering is very important because there are lots of speckle noise added with the images in the form of black and white spots over the images. If you want to reduce the speckle noises associated with the images, you have to use speckle filters. There are different types of speckle filters. We are using some of the speckle filter and we'll see what are the changes occurring when we apply speckle filter on the images by comparing the images with non-filtered or filtered images. Okay. Here you can see one of the image which I have analyzed for my study. So here, this is the part of Gujarat. This is Ahmedabad city, right? I have analyzed this image for water bodies, for man-made bodies, and for vegetation. You can also use these kind of things, these kind of analysis for your particular operations or your interest. I think some of the peoples are interested in these things, and in coming days, this is the very big area in which someone wants to invest or someone wants to go for study. These are the some results which I have processed from the same last images, right? I have subsetted these areas, this area, Ahmedabad city, and this area, this is Gulf of Khambat. This is Gulf of Khambat, which I have subsetted. So here, this is Gulf of Khambat. In this picture, you can see in this picture. This is the whole image taken by the satellite from this area, right? And we have to subset the area which we are interested. This is city Ahmedabad and this is Gulf of Khambat, which I have subsetted in the subsequent slides. This is Gulf of Khambat. After processing, we get these kind of pictures, right? This is Ahmedabad city. In this, we have highlighted only those area which is under the water surfaces. It means the white spots are the mask over the water surfaces. You can use different masking techniques and put the threshold value for the masking, and you will get the particular area which you want to mask. So here I have masked the city area, which is highlighted by bright pixels, and here I have uses masking of water bodies, which is highlighted by again a bright spot area. These are the some results. You can see the result. Then we will go for analysis, right? Today we are going to see how we can use the simulation software and how you can able to download the data, image, and how you can process the data for your understanding. These are the some data which I have processed. This is from San Francisco. This is San Francisco, which I have processed for man-made structure, as well as here you can see ships in the river. Okay. These are the few results which we can see in the software also, right? So in software, I think you people don't have the software, but today you go through the software as I can explain you, and tomorrow you can download the software and go for some images and do the activity as I will explain you, and again we will discuss those analysis in the next session, right? So here my slides are over. If you have any doubt, then you can ask me. If you don't, then we will go for some hands-on training. Hello. Is there any question?
Thank you so much, Yadav sir. I request all the participants, feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions if you have any.
If you don't have any question, then we will go for some hands-on.
Yes, sir. So I think there are no questions. Please proceed, sir.
Okay, okay. So here we are going to explain. I'm going to explain you some example over the Snap software, which is easily available. You can download this software from here. This is the site of ESA, from where exactly you can download the software, Snap software. Here you can download Snap software for Windows 64, Windows 32-bit, Mac operating system, and Unix 64-bit operating system. This is the new version 7. So you can download the software from this site. These are the open source software and very powerful software. You can use this software for full polarization, dual polarization, and single polarization also. As polarization we have discussed in last slides, HH polarization, VV polarization, VH polarization, HV polarization. Then full polarization, it means if images consist of all the 4 combinations of polarization, then the image is called full polarization or quad pole polarization. If the images have only 2 combinations, VV, VH, or HH, HV, then you can say these are the dual polarization images. If the image consists only one polarization like HH or VV, you can say This is single polarization images. The most important thing is whenever you want to analyze the images, you should know about the polarization. If you have a full polarization, then you can extract much more information from the images. But if you have dual polarization, you can't able to extract many information which is extracted in full polarization. And again, a very less information you can extract from a single polarization images. So while analyzing, before analyzing, you have to study the polarization and select the image accordingly. If you want to find the parameters like vegetation, like dielectric constant, or like man-made things in detail, you have to go for full polarization images. If you are not using the detailed study, you only want to find the overview of land or vegetation or water bodies or anything, you can go for dual polarization. But if you want physical parameters, geophysical parameters like dielectric constant, surface roughness, or how waves interact with the surface of the earth, then you will go for full polarization. Full polarization or quad pole polarization, in which image consists of HH, HV, VV, and VH images, right? So here you can download this. After downloading this, you can download some images from this site. This is alaska.edu. From this site, you can download the images, right? I can show you some techniques. By using these technique, you can easily find the area of your interest. Suppose I want to find the area which is nearby Argentina. Okay, then by a single click and making a square bracket, we can find the area related to this defined area only, right? So here we have search images. You can see there are 19,372 files. Per pages 250 files. Here you can see we have different type of satellites: Sentinel-1, ALOS, Pulsar, ALOS, CIRCE, right? Okay, so we select here Sentinel-1. You can select other also. So here for searching, you have to click on search. Okay, then the search result is shown below. These are the search result which is coming from the search. Here you can see this is the polarization VV plus VH. It means this image consists of only VV polarization and VH polarization. It means you can say this is dual polarized. Here we have different products you can download from right end of the screen. This is single look complex, which is called SLC images. Directed high resolution dual pole, which is GRD HD file. For snap analysis, we are going to download this file, GRD file. Don't download SLC file while working with the help of snap software, because it is very difficult to analyze the single look complex with the help of Snap simulation software. You can easily analyze the images with the help of GRD file. So go for GRD file, download it, and download XML metadata file in which whatever be the information about the satellite, their scanning, their polarization, their timing, all are given in metadata file. Okay, so from this site you can easily download the images and go for your related analysis. Okay, then how we can start after downloading or installing the Snap software? You can launch the Snap software. We can launch the Snap software. Snap software is looking like this. This is the simulation software which help us to analyze or find the information from the images, SAR images, and for the analysis of images. We have different techniques, tools and techniques in Snap software by means of which one can understand the images and find the related information. So here, this is the window of Snap software, which is having product explorer, pixel information, and here we have navigation, world view. In world view, you can see Earth, right? When we select the image, then this world view can pin the images which we have selected and from where exactly. So see here, go for file and open product. Go for open product. After opening product, you can select the product which you have already downloaded and open. Click on open. Here you can see your product is selected and inline in product explorer. When you click this plus sign, you have metadata file, you have vector data file, you have type points, you have quick looks, and you have bands. These bands are very, very important. Why? Because whatever be the image you have downloaded, it consists of two bands. Here we have VH and VV. VH means vertical transmitted and horizontally received, and VV means vertically transmitted and vertically received images are available in this band. Okay, when you click on the VH, you can see the image, VH image, in the image window. And please keep in your mind your software or desktop, you can say your desktop should be have high configuration. If your desktop or laptop is not having high configuration, then the image opening may takes few more time, right? So here, if you want to scroll the images or move the images, you have to select this hand. Okay, then you can roll on the images in the image window. Here we can select some area over which I am interested or you are interested. Okay, we are going for subsetting the area. So here I have selected this area in which you can see these are the bright spots, which is nothing but ships in the ocean, right? This is the area, San Francisco area, right? This is San Francisco area. For subsetting this area or for cutting this area from the whole images, this is the whole image. This is what whole image, right? And we are only interested in this part of image. So we will go for subsetting. For subsetting, you can use raster, and here you have a subset button. Click on the subset button. It will subset the image from the large images. You can also select image area from their latitude and longitude. By using latitude and longitude, you can also find the area of your interest. Then click on OK. After clicking on OK, we have another file in Product Explorer. Go to the file and see the band. Okay. These are the VH band. See, this is only the part which we have subsetted from the large images, right? This is the subset part, correct? Why we have subsetted this part? Due to two reasons. First, it is very difficult to handle the whole images. Why? Because image has a very large size. For handling the large images, you required more than 32 GB of RAM, which I don't have in my laptop. I have only 8 GB RAM in my laptop. So that's why I have subsetted this area only in which I am interested. Same, you have to subset those area in which you are interested. Why? Because if large images you are going to analyze, then you require more and more RAM on your desktop or laptop. So here we have VH and we want to see VV also. So click on amplitude VV. Actually, these images are in complex form. Complex means here magnitude, it means the real part and imaginary part. Once you combine the real and imaginary part, you get amplitude. Amplitude is nothing but root under amplitude square. Amplitude is equal to root under intensity square plus phase square, right? From this calculation you can calculate, but here as we have downloaded GRD file, we does not require to study the complexity of the images. We can easily study the images. Here we have opened both the polarization and we are going to compare the polarization by using window and tie horizontally. If you are tying, then you can see the synchronized images, synchronized part of both the images, right? Here you can see this part is more bright in this VH images and this part is not much bright as compared to the VH image. In VV images, we have this is brightly, right? And this is VH images. So you can compare here also. In VH, you have more white spots or blurred image over the water surface. In VV, you don't have such spots in the water region, right? And you can see clearly a ship over the ocean, and here there is some hazy blurred images in the VH images, right? Okay, so here you can compare two bands. Then we will go for next, radar radiometric calibration. What do you mean by radiometric calibration here? In theory part, we have seen back scattering coefficient, which is denoted by sigma naught. So here we want to extract the back scattering image from the satellite image. These are the satellite images. We want to extract back scattering images only from the satellite image by using radar radiometric calibration. In this, you can see in processing parameter output sigma naught, gamma naught, and beta naught. As we know that sigma naught is a backscattering signal, then we click on sigma naught and run. After running, we will get the sigma naught images. Okay, and we want to compare the sigma naught images. Here we have sigma naught images. This sigma naught is in the form of values, pixel values, intensity values, right? As in theory part, we have seen all the values, intensity values are represented in dB form. We have to convert these values in dB form by right clicking and use linear to dB conversion. After converging, you can see after conversion, you can see the converting images. Okay, something is wrong with this. Okay, then we will go for first we compare the two images. This is back scattering images of VH, and this is VV. If you want to compare, again go for Windows horizontally and see the change in images. Here we have more bright area, right, in VV images, and the same light area in VH images. It means if you compare the brightness, VV is nothing but dual bounce and VH is nothing but what? Scattering bounce. Here is dual bounce in which we get the bright spots, and this is dispersion, or you can say diffraction, right? Till now, any questions you have? If anybody has some questions, then ask me. Anybody have questions? Okay. I think you all understand all these things. This is not so difficult actually, because difficulty is only if you are doing alone. If anyone can tell you what is the complexity in the software or in the analysis, you can easily understand those things, right? These things are very, very unique for me when I have started before 2 years. But after doing so many works, I do all these things alone. And I wanted to give these things to you people, and also want you people to give these things to your friends or your colleague, so that they cannot take more time to understand, they can easily understand the concept, and they can go for satellite communication, satellite analysis, image analysis, and many more. As you know that Chandrayaan 2 was launched, and their images, Chandrayaan 1 had launched in 2008, but nobody, no more work have been done on those images. Why? Because only limited peoples are working on these concepts. These concepts are complex, not very hard to understand. If you go for the analysis, this is very difficult if you want to go alone. After explaining these concepts, you can easily analyze the images. Okay. So this is the benefit when you associate with these kind of event, in which you are getting something new ideas or new concept in a very, very layman language, right? So here we go for our next step, which is speckle filtering, right? For single product. Okay. I think we have generated more bands, right? Which is not given here, but you can see here also. You can see in this tab, right? So we can select only two, this and this. Why? Because due to the multiple operations, these all are generated. Okay. Then we select Lee filter and go for 5 by 5 windows. In window, we have selected 5 by 5. Okay. Then click on run. Okay. Then we have filtered image. In this, I want to open VV only, right? And I have to close VH and again select tie to horizontal, right? Here you can see this is filtered image and this is non-filtered image, right? This is sigma naught without filtering, and this is sigma naught with filtering. So you can see the smooth surface is coming, right? And here we have distracted surfaces. So after taking filtering, after taken filter in a consideration, we can convert our images into smooth images, in which we can easily identify double bounce, right? And surface bounce and volume scattering bounce, right? You can also You can also make RGB images. It means color images by using only 2 bands. Here we can use RGB image. You can see this RGB image. From RGB image, the red color goes to double bounce, green color goes to volume scattering, and blue color goes to surface scattering. So these are the surface scattering, right? Surface scattering due to the smooth surface. Okay. These are the double bounce due to the man-made object. These are the what? Double bounce man-made surfaces. Okay. Again, you have another combination for RGB in which you can select in red VV polarization, in green VH polarization, and in blue VV polarization. Then you get this type of structure. In this image, you can easily find double bounce, volume scattering, and surface scattering, right? Till now, any questions?
Hello, sir. Sir, we have a question from Mohan, sir. He is asking how the Starlink satellite constellation launched by SpaceX to provide satellite internet access is different from normal communication satellites.
Yes, sorry, ma'am. Yes.
Sir, we have a question from Mohan, sir. He is asking how the Starlink satellite constellation launched by SpaceX to provide satellite internet access is different from normal communication satellites.
Okay, he's asking about the communication satellite, right?
Yes, sir.
And
How
how
it
it
is
is different?
different from Starlink satellite constellation launched by SpaceX?
Launched by SpaceX.
Yes, sir.
I don't have idea about this. So, okay.
I think what we can do is we'll check this particular question, Mohan sir, and as tomorrow also Yadav sir will be taking the session, so we can answer this particular question tomorrow also, right, sir? Can we do it?
Okay, no problem. I have to check actually. I'm not
Yes.
confirmed yet. So that's why
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to.
Yes. Sure. So we'll check it out and then we'll check for the best answer for this particular question. Yeah, Yadav sir, continue please.
Okay, no problem.
Any questions, sir? Related to what explain? Uh, uh,
Sir, we have a question from Mr. Amit Kumar. He's asking if this software is freely available.
Here, yes, from this, I have given the link also, right? This is the software which is available on esa.int, right? This is the URL from which you can download easily this software. Again, you have another software which is Polsar Pro, right? Snap and Polsar Pro. You can download Snap from here. We have different versions of Snap for Windows 64-bit, for Windows 32-bit, Mac operating system, as well as for Unix. Okay. So go through this ESA website and download the software. These are the freely available software, open source software. You can use these software for single polarization, dual polarization, as well as for full polarization. Full, it means quad pole polarization. Okay. Okay, noted.
Yes, sir. Any more questions? I request the participants to feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions, or you can write to us.
Okay, then we will go for the next one. Which is, in this, we have seen how we can easily extract the double bounce, surface scattering, and volume scattering, right? Here, we want to convert this band in dB, okay, which we can't able to do earlier. Here we have done, okay. This can be stored by converting the band in the same band folder. Here we have both the band, and we have converted and save into in band file, okay. Then if you combine these two, you will get the different brightness of the images, right? Okay, this is what this is, sigma naught in dB, okay, or this is sigma naught VV in not in dB, right? This image is not in dB. We can analyze or compare by using these two. Here you can say see sigma naught VV in is not in dB. In this picture, the image is not in dB, and in this picture, the image is converted into dB in decibel unit. Okay. By using decibel unit, you can easily extract the sigma naught images and highlight those things which is double bounce and volume scattering, right? Okay. Then we will go for geometric correction. We use here terrain correction and use range Doppler terrain correction. These are the tools which can help us to directly implement the concept with the images, right? You can unmask, so you can get the full images. We apply these two only on these two band, which is sigma naught VB in dB and sigma naught VH in dB. Okay. Wait some time. Okay. This process has been completed and we get a new product in Product Explorer. Here we can see again sigma naught VH and VB. These two products are what? These two products are geometrically corrected, or you can say geometrically we have corrected the images in this band. Here you can compare the geometrically corrected or not corrected images, right? This is geometrically corrected images. Okay, so here you can see the orientation has been changed, right? The orientation of image has been changed. Why? Because we have corrected the geometry of this images. If you want to see this image on the Google Earth, you have to check. First, I want to display RGB image, then we will go for that. Okay. Okay. This is what RGB image is. This is RGB image for a particular back indicating signal. Okay. Then we go for see this image on the Google Earth. So here we can set test 1 and save on desktop. Here you can see whatever we have performed the operation. You can see whatever be the operation performed by us is counted in the world view. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and many more, right? Here you can see world view. Okay, this is what world view. Where exactly this is present in San Francisco, you can see here. These are the area which we have taken, right? Okay. If we want to see the image on Google Earth, we have to open first Google Earth. This is Google Earth. I'm going to open this Google Earth. Okay, this is Google Earth, and we want to open the image which we have processed in the Snap software. We can easily look on this surface by open and select the file which we have stored on our desktop by the name test1. Okay, okay, see carefully. This goes to Google Earth, right? This picture is superimposed the surface which is observed on the Google Earth. You can see our processed data file which is superimposed over the Google Earth surface, right? You can see this is our processed image, and this is on the surface of Google Earth. This is San Francisco, right? These are the water bodies. These are the man-made bodies. These are the, I think this is bridge. Golden Gate, you can see here, Golden Gate, bright Golden Gate Bridge is there, right? This is ships. Okay. You can also find the length of the things which is on the images. Okay. For length, you can use this scale, and if you want to find the length of this line is nothing but some bridges, you can say. By clicking over that, here the distance is 2.8731,606 plus minus 0.0096 kilometer. It means approximately it is 2.88 kilometer, more than 2.5 kilometer, you can say, right? Okay, you can easily find this image on Google Earth. Okay, everybody can understand. I think everybody have understand what I have done in the software. Or any query if you want to ask. Till now I have explained how you can able to analyze the image, dual polarization image, by using the Sentinel-1 software. If anybody has some problem or queries, then please ask me. Is there any question related to the operations in this software? Okay, think. These things are very, very complex. Okay, but I am telling in a very layman language, so you can understand how we can analyze the product, different image product from the different satellite. Okay, if you go for the real research, you can use these kind of path which I have explained you, and again follow the research paper. If you want to analyze some water body, then you have to go for extraction of water body related papers only. In that you have lots of different techniques, lots of different ways to find the water body. Try to implement those techniques with the help of this Sentinel software and achieve your goal. Okay, if you have any problem, then ask me. Whatever I have explained till now, I think you all have understand. If don't understand, please ask me question.
Yadav sir, I think we will have you again tomorrow also, and we'll be taking
Okay.
more questions tomorrow also with the audience and everyone.
Okay.
And I must say,
Okay, I
the
wanted to
presentation.
tell you something. Every participant can download this software from Sentinel website, ESA website, which I have given in the first look. And please download some images from this site, Alaska, and do these activities which I have told you in the previous section, and then we will discuss more in detail how we can implement the different techniques on the different image, and consider the different ways or finding the different surfaces of Earth. Okay, so we will see tomorrow with this software and the upcoming techniques which can help us to identify more and more basic parameters or ground surface parameter from the images. Okay, I hope you all can download these software and images. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Yadav sir. Indeed, it was a great pleasure to have you as an expert for this session. I'm very much certain and hopeful that this insightful presentation and thought presented by you will have our audience and participants to have wider perspective toward our goal. And it was in line with the philosophy of this program. It was a detailed presentation on satellite communication systems, synthetic aperture radar, and SAR image interpretation. You have also thrown light upon the Sentinel data processing steps with the relatable examples. The hands-on learning session was very thoughtful and enlightening. And it was a detailed presentation on satellite communication, and the way you continued it further to the yesterday's expert Naveen Kumar sir presentation, it was really wonderful and thought-provoking, sir. I once again thank you for taking out your valuable time, and on behalf of our organizers, co-organizers, sponsors, and technical partners, I am very much thankful to you. And tomorrow we will continue for our sessions at the same time. Thank you, sir, and thank you to all the participants. And now I would like to request all the participants to please turn on the camera for some time so that we can have a quick picture of us all.
Can you stop sharing your screen? We request everyone to please put your video camera on so that we can have a group photograph. We are waiting for 1 more minute and then we'll take the photographs. Welcome everyone, and I request everyone to please put your camera on so that we can have a group photograph. Yadav sir, Yadav sir, you still over there?
I think picture is not clear.
I think your camera is blurred. It might have something on to it.
Uh, I think maybe connection problem is there.
Okay. So Monica, I think you can take the photographs.
Yes, sir.
So we'll be having our first photograph, please. Welcome you, sir. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, Mr. Karma. And everyone, we have been receiving a lot of questions. Thank you all for your such a wonderful support. Monica, once done, you can just let everyone know
Yeah,
that
it is done.
photographs are.
Okay. It's done, sir.
Okay.
Okay, tomorrow we will continue with the Yadav sir, same on today's topic. And thank you all for being with us. Thank you, everyone.